Hello, everyone, and this is the Ballet Libretto. In this series, you are invited to come with me to explore the stories behind the world's most beloved ballets. This program is not only for ballet fans around the world, but also for people who love a good story. The ballet art form has a history that spans over 400 years, and at times it was political, but always evolving, always complex, and at the center of it, ballet was and still is about the human experience. Today, we are going to continue the countdown of the top 10 most popular ballets in the world. Ranked at number 7 is Cinderella. Cinderella is possibly the most famous fairy tale in history. There are thousands of versions of the story, and it's one of those stories most people know very well. They know how it begins, they know how it ends. They have read the story as a child, or they have watched a version of it on film. Just a few weeks ago, Hollywood made another version of Cinderella, which premiered on Amazon Prime. So the question is, what is there to tell about Cinderella that we don't know about? Well, there is a lot to learn because the story is so old, and it's worth studying and researching because the timelessness of the story says a lot about human beings. Why have we been telling this story for thousands of years? Because human beings need stories as much as we need water and food. The world is always in need of storytellers to teach us what is possible. Cinderella symbolizes different things to different people, depending on the version you are most familiar with. For me, Cinderella is the ultimate story of the underdog, the story of a person who is underestimated, underrated, who started at the bottom and overcame obstacles in order to become a success. Many of us have spent our entire lives cheering for the underdog, and I think that's why we will always need the story of Cinderella. To get an understanding of how old this story is, according to scientists and anthropologists, the first human beings lived in modern day Kenya. That is where human life started thousands of years ago. Well, the oldest story of Cinderella told the story of a Greek courtesan who lived in Naucrasis, Egypt, and married the king of Egypt who lived in Memphis. So it's right around that area of the world. Then the story traveled to China and Italy. The Chinese Cinderella's name was Ye, and she was the daughter of a local leader who died after her mother. And when she became an orphan, she lived with her father's second wife who abused her. The second wife had a daughter before he died. Ye became friends with a fish who was the reincarnation of her deceased mother. Her stepmother and her half-sister kills the fish, but the bones of the fish have magical properties. So Yeon finds the fish's bones and uses them to get ready to go to the town festival. She loses her shoe at the festival, and the king from another town gets hold of the shoe and looks all over for the person who owns the shoe. Once the king finds Yeon, he marries her, and her stepmother and half sister are stoned to death. The Italian version of Cinderella is known as Cenerentola, which comes from the word cenere, meaning ash or cinder. It was published in 1634 in a book of fairy tales titled Loconto de Loconti, which means the story of stories, and it takes place in the kingdom of Naples. The version that most people know is the French version, written by Charles Perrault and published in 1697. The only two differences between the French story and the modern story is in the French story, her father lives and she doesn't tell him that her stepmother and stepsisters abuse her. Next, in the French story, it was the prince's idea to throw a ball. Other than that, the story is pretty much the same. Her stepmother and stepsisters treat her like the maid of the house. Her godmother helps her attend the ball by turning her rags and slippers into a ball gown and glass shoes. A pumpkin is turned into a carriage. The spell expires at midnight, and she loses one of her glass slippers at the ball when she is leaving. The prince looks high and low for her, finds her, marries her, and Cinderella forgives her stepsisters. So it ends with her stepsisters marrying noblemen who are members of the royal court. According to Charles Perrault, he thought the moral of the story was, without a doubt, it is a great advantage to have intelligence, courage, good breeding, and common sense. These and similar talents come only from heaven, and it is good to have them. However, even these may fail to bring you success without the blessing of a godfather or a godmother. If you look at the godparent as a symbol of luck or someone with resources who cares about you, then yes, he is right. The first Cinderella ballet premiered in 1813 in Vienna, but details behind the ballet production is lost. In 1870, the Bolshoi Theater in Moscow hired Tchaikovsky to compose the ballet, but the project never made it to the stage. Then, on December 17, 1893, Cinderella premiered at the Imperial Ballet Theater in St. Petersburg, Russia. The libretto was written by Countess Lydia Pashkova. The music was composed by Boris Fintenhoff-Schell, who was the son of a Baltic German baron, and he studied at the Moscow Conservatory. He and Tchaikovsky were classmates. He composed the music for operas as well as ballets. And then there is the choreography. Acts 1 and 3 were choreographed by Enrico Sacchetti, and Act 2 was choreographed by Lev Ivanov. Enrico Sacchetti was one of the greatest figures in ballet history. He was born in Rome in 1850. Both of his parents were professional dancers. He danced all over Europe before moving to Russia to improve his dance technique. And eventually he created the Italian style of ballet training known as the Sacchetti method. After working as a choreographer at the Imperial Ballet, Sacchetti accepted the artistic director position at the Imperial Ballet School located in Poland. At that time, Poland was a part of the Russian Empire. Eventually, he moved to London for 3 years and opened up a school there. Then he and his wife, who was also a dancer, moved back to Italy to retire. However, he was offered a teaching position in Milan at La Scala, and he accepted the position under 3 conditions. Number 1, students would be accepted on the basis of talent, regardless of nationality. Number 2, lessons would be free. And number 3, dancers would never be interrupted during class, which to me is a beautiful thing. His wife died in 1927, then Cincetti died the following year. In this version of Cinderella, the prince's name is Charming. Cinderella's father is Cavalier Pignerol. Her stepmother's name is Henrietta. Her stepsisters' names are Eloise and Odette. The music and the choreography were never published, so the ballet is considered to be lost. In 1941, Russian composer Sergei Prokofiev decided to write music for Cinderella. The idea stemmed from a conversation he had with the famous ballerina of his time, Galina Ulanova. He asked her what new ballet she would like for him to do, and her reply was Cinderella. He went to work on it right away. However, he quit the ballet when World War II broke out, and he finished the score in 1944. It premiered at the Bolshoi Theater in 1945, and he dedicated the score to Tchaikovsky. This time, Cinderella was a two-act ballet. The libretto was written by Nikolai Volkov, the same librettist who wrote the Spartacus ballet, and it was choreographed by Rostislav Zakharov. He was not only a ballet choreographer, but he was also an opera director and a professor at the Russian Academy of the Arts in Moscow during the last 30 years of his life. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I am doing this series in celebration of a new ballet that will premiere in New York City in April 2022 titled The Prince of Barakova. The Prince of Barakova is a romantic ballet that will be danced to rock music instead of classical music. It tells the story of a prince who takes a trip around the world during the season of Lent looking for his soulmate. If you would like to make a donation towards the production of the ballet, the Kickstarter campaign will begin on October 17th, 2021, where you can donate as little as $5. If you would like to purchase the Ballet Libretto, my book, The Journal of a Ballet Librettist, will be available on Amazon Monday, November 15th. Also, I am running a contest that started at the beginning of the Ballet Libretto season. If you are the first person to correctly guess what is number 1 on this countdown, you will win two free tickets to see the Prince of Barakova Ballet in New York City, and you will find the answer during the last episode of the series, which will be posted on Sunday, November 21st, 2021. To enter into the contest, email your answer at nightglowonline@gmail.com with the subject Ballet Contest. Thank you to my subscribers, and if you are new to this channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button below. Click like and share. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on the Nightglow Entertainment channel right here on YouTube.